Hey friends, welcome back to Diamonds and Threads. It's me, Blue, and today I will be working on a SpongeBob whip canvas. It is an 11 count Aida, 62 by 50 centimeters, and honestly, it's a whole vibe. Bright colors, chaotic energy, very bikini bottom. Anyway, grab your project, cross stitch, diamond painting, whatever you're working on. Get cozy, settle in, and let's hang out for a bit. Today we're diving into something fun, stylish, and maybe even a little controversial. Fashion trends through history. Let's time travel through some iconic fashion eras. The Roaring Twenties, flapper dresses with fringe and pearls, women chopped off their hair into bobs. That was rebellious at the time because long hair symbolized femininity. Cutting it all off was like saying, I make my own rules now. Can you imagine how bold that must have felt? And makeup. Before the 20s, makeup was considered improper, but flappers wore dark lipstick and smoky eyes proudly. They weren't just changing clothes, they were changing culture. The 1950s. After World War II, Christian Dior's new look swept the world. Big skirts, tiny waists, structured bodices. It was fashion's way of saying, let's return to beauty, let's celebrate. There was a sense of glamour, even in everyday life. But it wasn't universal. Not everyone could afford Dior. So people got creative, sewing circle skirts at home, adding little touches of luxury where they could. That blend of high fashion and DIY has always been part of the story. The 1970s. Bell bottoms, disco shirts, platform shoes. Fashion was louder, freer, more experimental. It wasn't just about clothing, it was about identity. Peace movements, disco nights, individuality. Even men stepped into bold prints, bright colors, and flashy accessories. And we can't forget about the 70s hairstyles. Afros, feathered waves, long natural locks. Hairstyles themselves became fashion statements. The 1990s into the early 2000s. Low-rise jeans, butterfly clips, chokers. The Y2K look is making a comeback right now with shiny fabrics, baby tees, and holographic everything. And honestly, some of it is really fun, but some of it, I'm not sure if I ever need to revisit. Fashion in the 90s also felt more casual. Grunge flannels, ripped jeans, Doc Martens, almost like a rebellion against the glamour of the 80s. Every era tells a story about the mood of the time. The 20s were about rebellion, the 50s about glamour, the 70s about freedom, the 90s about casual cool. If you could dress in one of those eras for just a day, which one would you pick? I think I'd love to try a full 1920s flapper look. The sparkle, the fringe swaying with every move, just for a day though. That's what makes fashion such a fun time capsule. It's history you can actually wear. Fashion isn't always elegant, though. Sometimes it gets downright strange. Take the 18th century wigs. So tall they had wire cages inside just to hold them up. Some were powdered, perfumed, and decorated with feathers or even model ships. Imagine stitching with one of those on your head. Or the 1990s Jenko jeans. My favorite. Pants so wide they practically swallowed your shoes. You could almost hide a whole cross-stitch kit inside one of those pant legs. And what about micro trends today? Like those tiny handbags. Cute, yeah, sure, but they don't even fit a phone. Is that really fashion or just performance? Shoes have always been extreme. In Renaissance Venice, women wore chopins. I hope I said that right. Platform shoes so tall, some were nearly 20 inches high. They actually needed attendants just to walk around. And who remembers jelly sandals? Oh, jelly sandals. Even when I was little, colorful, see-through, squeaky little shoes in the 90s and early 2000s and even earlier than that. They were so adorable, but also blister-inducing. That's the thing. Fashion is never just about clothes. It's about what the clothes say. Sometimes they whisper elegance, sometimes they scream rebellion, and sometimes they just say, I dare you not to look. Here's a fun thought. What's the weirdest thing you've ever worn, on purpose or by accident? I know I once wore mismatched shoes to school without realizing it. Not exactly a fashion statement, but hey, maybe it was trend setting. Fashion isn't just about looking good, it's about identity. Think about uniforms. A school uniform or a work uniform instantly changes how you carry yourself. Suddenly, you're representing a group, not just yourself. Or think about confidence. Putting on that one outfit, the one that feels like you, can change your whole mood. Even in the crafting community, fashion becomes personal. I know stitchers who bead their own jewelry, embroider patches for jackets, or even design entire outfits around handmade pieces. I also love how some people have a signature look. Like Steve Jobs with the black turtleneck or Dolly Parton with sequins and rhinestones. It's fashion as storytelling. So here's a question for you. If someone had to describe you in one outfit, what would it be? For me, I think it would be something cozy but colorful. Not too colorful, but colorful. Like a big sweater, some leggings, and some big earrings because I'm all about comfort. And don't underestimate the quiet pieces of fashion. A favorite hoodie, a well worn pair of sneakers. Sometimes identity isn't in the bold statement, it's in the familiar comfort. Every generation has its rebels, and fashion is usually their first weapon. Think about the punk scene: ripped jeans, leather jackets, safety pins as jewelry. It wasn't just a look, it was a loud message they were giving. The "we don't follow your rules" message. Or the hippie movement in the 60s and 70s: flowing dresses, tie dye, flowers in the hair. Fashion became a protest, a rejection of war and conformity. Even small things can be rebellious, like women wearing pants in the early 1900s. At that time, it was shocking, but little by little, those rebellions opened doors. Let's fast forward to today. Sometimes rebellion is quiet, choosing not to wear makeup, rocking natural hair in a world that pressure conformity, wearing clothes that challenge gender norms. Rebellion through fashion doesn't always mean loud colors or spikes. Sometimes it means wearing exactly what makes you feel like yourself, no matter what's trending. So here's a fun reflection. If you had to rebel through fashion, even just for a day, what would your outfit look like? Fashion isn't just about the West. Every culture has its own incredible history of style. In Japan, there's the kimono, elegant, layered, and deeply symbolic. In India, saris with their vibrant fabrics and embroidery. In West Africa, bold Ankara prints full of meaning and color. Even today, global fashion influences everything. Streetwear in Tokyo, couture in Paris, textiles from South America. The internet has made styles travel faster than ever. And think about traditional dress that's still worn for celebrations. Hanboks in Korea, kippaos in China, kilts in Scotland. Clothing carries heritage and identity across generations. It makes me think of our crafts too. Every culture has its own form of stitching, weaving, or beadwork. Fashion and craft go hand in hand. Both are threads connecting us to the past. If you could borrow any cultural fashion for a day, respectfully of course, which one would you try? I think I'd pick a full sari with all the layers and jewelry. The colors are just breathtaking. Fashion has always moved with technology. Think about the sewing machine in the 1800s. Suddenly, clothes could be made faster, more affordable, more accessible. Or synthetic fabrics like nylon and polyester. They changed everything. Suddenly, clothing wasn't just natural fibers, it was stretchy, shiny, waterproof. Today, we see tech and fashion everywhere: 3D printed shoes, fabrics made from recycled plastic, even dresses that light up on the red carpet. And then there's digital fashion, outfits that only exist online for avatars or social media. Imagine buying a dress you can never wear, but your character can. The line between real and virtual is blurring. Will we one day wear clothes only in augmented reality? Maybe, but I think we'll always crave real textures too. It's the same in crafting. We use new tools and materials, but the heart of it is still thread, fabric, and our hands at work. One of the biggest conversations in fashion beauty today is sustainability. Fast fashion gives us cheap, trendy clothes, but at a big cost. Factories, waste, pollution. We end up with overflowing closets and landfills full of textiles. The alternative? Slow fashion. Buying less, choosing quality, repairing what we already own. Thrifting is huge now too. And honestly, it's not just eco-friendly, it's fun. You never know what treasure you'll find in a thrift shop. Looking around, putting pieces together, and crafting fits right in. Stitching, sewing, upcycling, they all make fashion personal again. A jacket with your embroidery isn't just clothing, it's art. So here's a reflection. What's the one piece of clothing you wore the longest? For me, it's a hoodie I've had for, I would say, more than a decade. A little worn out, but still very much cozy. Sustainable fashion isn't about perfection, it's about connection, about loving what we wear instead of constantly replacing it. As we finish up today, I keep thinking about how fashion trends remind us of life itself. Things come and go. We resist, we embrace, we laugh, and sometimes we cringe looking back. But each style is a little time capsule. It tells us where we've been and who we were at the time. And isn't that just like our projects? Every diamond painting, every cross stitch, every work in progress, it's a snapshot of us in the moment, frozen in thread and sparkle. So thank you, friends, for spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this cozy chat, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me in the comments, what are you currently working on? And what's your favorite or least favorite trend of all time? Until then, keep stitching, keep sparkling, and I'll see you next time.